my name is Jonathan Adams. I am a physical geography major, and I am an officer with SVC. I'm the Bobcat Break chair.
So my name is Karina Alulano. I am a graduate student here at Texas State, and I am studying student affairs in higher education.
So basically, the social issue that we were dealing with was flood relief. So, like I said, in Baton Rouge, they received a record-breaking flood. They've basically never received a flood this big before, and it affected a lot of different parishes. Those are the counties in Louisiana. It affected a lot more than just the one parish of Baton Rouge that we were in. And so it destroyed a lot of houses, and so we worked with the agency SBP, and we went in there and SBP helps to get a family back on their feet and rebuild the house and make it livable again. So Bobcat Break is the university's alternative break program, and what an alternative break program is essentially, it's just, in its simplest form, it's a service trip. So we go and we help a community need, and then we learn about that social issue pertaining to the work that we do and how we can relate the work that we did in whatever community we visited to the San Marcos, Hays County community.
Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
So this family was fortunate that they already had their flooring put in, so we wanted to make sure that we took care of their new flooring, and so we had to tape down tarps. We had to get really creative when we ran out of tarps, and so we also had to make sure that, because the ceiling and the walls were different colors, that they were going to be protected. So taping around the corners of the room, around the electrical outlets, around the doors. We also had to texturize the walls because their walls were previously texturized, and so that was a really cool new experience because I didn't realize that they literally just put paint into something and blew it out the wall in order for there to become texture. So that was a really cool experience to kind of be a part of.
Mudding is you take what is called mud, it's exactly what it sounds like, and then you go back and all those imperfections in the wall that you have circled or marked, you then go and you basically fill in. So you apply the mud to the wall, and then you basically scrape off the excess and you make it all smooth so it looks like there was never anything there once you sand it down and paint it.
So skimming is a technique that they use when they are, after they put up the sheetrock, to make sure that that there aren't any dents or dings that might be on the wall. And so that is really important because once you've painted and you have the lighting and everything in the room, you don't want there to be noticeable dents or noticeable indents where you're like, what happened here?
Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone
Perfectly.
All right, so how are y'all doing this?
So we have to put in sheetrock. So we have to measure what we have. This is where the bathtub's supposed to be, so there's a different type of sheetrock that's going to be here. So we're just putting this slab in here, a slab in here, and then halfway here as well.
I think it was one of those things where helping with different parts of the project, kind of thinking okay, are we doing this right? Recognizing we weren't professionals, but we were kind of helping in a professional capacity. And so when she came into the room and wanted to help us paint, kind of remembering that at the end of the day, these people just want their home back and to be able to live in their, not just being a house, but in their home that they used to have before the flooding. And so her being in there and painting and having a young child paint their room, that's supposed to be fun and supposed to be something exciting to make your room yours again. And so for me, that moment was just definitely one of the highlights of it.
Okay, can you tell me again what you're doing?
We're treating girls
Tree mold, okay.
We did just back wall.
And what is it that you're using to clean it with?
Set it down open before you start everything.
Like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. So way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
Bobcat Break is an opportunity for students to do something with their break and go make an impact somewhere else.
I feel brand new.
So there was an incident, an accident if you will, in which we were pouring paint into one of the like pails, and we put the bucket down and had put the lid on there, but I guess we hadn't put the lid on correctly. And Sneha went to rest her foot on there. She was like adjusting her foot or something, and she accidentally like moved the lid and her foot fell in, and so she was literally standing with one foot in the bucket. And Sneha was wearing her nice boots that day.
What is this?
So what had happened was that our friend here, Sneha,
It was in the way. It was in the way.
stepped into the paint bucket,
The
Not
bucket?
on purpose.
into the
not
bucket.
On purpose.
Her entire foot. You can see all that whiteness.
Not on purpose. I tripped. It was in the way.
So while you're doing service, you know, you're obviously talking to other people who are on your trip, getting to know them, getting to create those bonds. So our trip specifically, during service, we would take breaks and we would play Ninja. And that was always fun. That can get quite interesting. That can be an interesting game to play with a lot of people, especially within some of the smaller rooms of the house or something. I don't know, I think basically it was just interesting playing because people did not understand that game.
Oh, it's my turn? Yeah. You're moving again, Tabitha. Is that your movie? That's a movie.
That was a movie. She got it.
That was two moves. I thought she was coming for me. I put it back.
You have both arms?
Tabitha, no, he's actually.